Gano, Annie, good morning. Hi, or good afternoon. Nice to see everyone. For those of you joining us, this is our Grandmother's Voice platform. I'm Jody Harbour. I'm one of the co founders of Grandmother's Voice. Today, we're having a discussion, a short little conversation about our upcoming conference, Truth with Reconciliation, Respect, Restore, and Relearn the Healing Framework. And today we have Grandmother Renee Thomas Hill and Mishomis Alan Sutherland to share with us a bit more about who they are and what they'll be sharing at the conference, what they'll be bringing there for our visitors and the guests. We're all looking forward to it. I was sharing earlier that we shared some posts out in social media today, and so our platforms and our emails have been quite busy. Everyone is excited to come together. We have people that have engaged from different provinces and northern communities, so we know that this is a very important time for people to gather. Yeah, thanks so much for being here, Grandmother Renee. You want to share who you are?
Okay. Sego, sewa kwego. Gana disa youngets. Wagatsione, Wagonidehene. I am known as Grandmother Renee, and that name was given to me by the young people I worked in a treatment center because I wanted to help the people. I wanted to help the people to find their spirit. And so my journey in life has been to guide people to a better understanding because the peacemaker give us all the tools. The peacemaker said there will be a time when our stories would be renewed and would be taken in again. And so I've been preparing for this day. I have had so many opportunities of renewing people. And that is the greatest joy a grandmother can have. And this is what I see for all, not just for their children, but for the people. Because look how much health problems we're having. Look how much, um, as they say, injustice. Where is ethics gone? Where has respect gone? Where has all this principles and values that each of us was given? We have been in chaos because we walked away, and we need to restore that balance because there's a child in each one of us. We want peace, and that's what every grandmother would want for their children, is to have peace within their hearts, to to understand why people are angry, to understand why there is so much jealousy, to understand, and it all comes from what they have done with the land, because our relationship with the land has affected us spiritually. And so we need to look at our belts, because that's the first policy, wellness and well-being for all, not just indigenous, but for all people. It was to help their minds. It was to help their hearts, not to carry anger and belittle anybody and take down anyone. And it was a time of building, and that's why the peacemaker came. And we are so fortunate that we have our stories, and that's what I want to share, is how we need to restore our hearts to a better human being, because we have been dehumanized, and it's so sad. The children are needing love, not anger and jealousy and divisions. They are our teachers. They come here to teach us and remind us how to restore peace and unconditional love. And that's what I'm here for.
Yeah, well, thank you. I just stepped backstage just to kind of give you the spotlight. Um, Michelle Allen, you've been with us several times here in Ontario, and we appreciate you coming and visiting and sharing your knowledge. Uh, we have great respect for you. Thank you.
Thank you for having me, Jody, and especially you as a collective group as Grandmother Voices. You're a great, loving host. You treat me well when I do visit, and give an opportunity to share some of my teachings. Wabski minister Mr. Temnis Nakaz, Bijuni do them, Ishkun Anning Donji, Nashnabe Sotuni. Yeah, my spirit name is White Spotted Horse. I'm of the Lynx clan. I'm from Skowhegan First Nation of Treaty 2 territory. I'm at the heart of Turtle Island. And I'm Anishinaabe Soto. And my common name is Alan Sutherland. And my background is I live in two worlds. I grew up in a traditional way of survivor society, not so much the ceremonial way of the Anishinaabe. That came uh, uh, in midlife later on. But I do live in the broader world, and I have been since the year 1999. So I bring with me, I can say I have 2 feet in two different worlds. And what's about is trying to find balance. So when I help people to understand that we cannot so much go back to the time of our ancestors, but there's so much to learn there. There's so much healing, empowerment. So we take the best of our world there. We also have to take the best of the world that we live in. So the best way to do this is to reflect how can that serve us better in our own communities. So it's like braiding a sweetgrass. There's three of them that has to be put together, and it's not going to be one model fits all.
No.
It has to be. We have to reflect who we are. Where did we come from? What is our journey? And what is going on today? What's the impact of that journey? Especially the recent events in the last 150 years. But the challenges still remains. There's still a lot of addressing colonization and intergenerational traumas that are plaguing our communities. But doesn't mean that we're gonna stay that way. We're making tremendous progress in healing, the returning for a lot of us, the returning of our ceremonies.
Mm-hmm.
In some communities, they kept it alive. Some had to go underground because of the laws. And you're seeing it all around us. This renewal. It's one of the themes of this conference that's coming up. But where do we go today? We're such a moment of tremendous change, and that's where my presentation comes in. I'm mostly known as to talk about the history, the Canadian Indigenous historical timeline, and it shows two different timelines. At one time, and that's part of the seven fires prophecies I want to talk about. There was a moment of a new whole world by that 2 Wampum Belt is going to be talked about in this conference. I think there's three of us speakers are going to be talking about that a bit. But it's a reflection on that one doesn't dominate over the other. We agreed to go on a journey together. But there was a warning on that Fort Fire because it led into treaties, it led into these sacred agreements, and we were deceived because the Indian Act came in. And this is the darkness that I'm going to be talking about. We are, I'll be talking about the seven fires. And the first three fires is talking about how we were before contact with colonization and such. But for this conference to understand, for Canadians to still understand that reconciliation doesn't have an ending mandate when all this damage took place for over 200 years, especially in the East. Where I'm from, it wasn't felt to until 100 years ago because we were isolated. But where does that leave us today? Well, that's what the discussions are going to be about. For us to, we all, we all going to help as indigenous people. We're going to help heal this planet. We're talking about land-based education. We're reminding people that we're all one. We all belong for each other. And there's a lot of people who wants that healing, that understanding. And we need more and more of that. We need to collectively get together to remind ourselves that we do have a choice. And the choice is right in our face with the changes that are happening today, especially what's going to the south of the border, what's going on in the world. But as we are just about to go in a federal election, I think it's very critical because we got to remind ourselves we still have our roots, our foundations that's built on indigenous values, inclusion. Kanata is our village, but it lost its ways. But it's still, we are the foundation. So we have to light the eight fire together. And there's a lot of hope in that. And that's the message that I wanted to share in this conference.
Yeah, that my I was just to finish because this isn't a long show. This is more so just sharing with our guests and those that are interested in attending. Why should they come? And so we have this moment right now to offer an invitation or one message to share with them. Is there anything else that you'd like to add, Grandmother Renee?
Yes, I come from that place of original being, and that is love. We all came to be a part of a greater message, and that is of love. Each of us is a spiritual being. We were given a greater purpose, and that was to be ambassadors, because our messengers have been talking to us even right now in the sky world. You notice a lot of events are unfolding in the sky world. Well, that again is reminding us that there's a greater change coming. And right now it's a spiritual warfare, because this is what people are hungry for in their hearts, is an understanding of why did all this happen. And so we're going to manifest this, because it's part of a ceremony that our people have been doing for the coming together of peace, for the coming together of understanding what the land has been giving us, the land has been teaching us, and the land reminds us of our roles and our responsibility. And so today we are here to share another understanding from the heart, the messages of the heart of our ancestors, of your ancestors too. It's not just ours, because all people came from that place. And the first language I have come to know and understand was the message of love. Yes, a lot of people said they weren't loved, but you were loved by creation. You were loved by the birds. You were loved by the water. You were loved by all these beautiful creation that was to help us when we were feeling lonely. And so this is why we are now listening to the land. Look what's happening all around. Look what is happening to the waters. Look what's happening to the air. And this is another, we are just the helpers of the land and the air and the water. And we need you to walk side with each other so that we can create a good and safe place for the coming faces. So this is a message that I come with, is that we need to walk together, because it's our children that we are very concerned about and their future. Because now even our children are speaking up. A lot of the young people are speaking up. And it's a gift that we all are to have. It's not the gift of war within ourselves. It's a gift of love to overcome that grief we carry. And right now, I'm in a time of celebration, a celebrating of my sister in law's life. So we're having, as you say, to us it's a feast, but to us it's honoring her life, honoring how she came and the purpose. And her purpose was sharing that love. And that's what she did. And so to all you that are believing in ethics and principles and values, that's what we call original being. And the animals will remind us, the land will remind us. And so I'm looking forward to sharing with you. But most of all, I am honored to have you come and visit us because this is a part of the biggest ceremony ever. The biggest ceremony that's ever going to happen for 2025. It is in the time of renewing and bringing back the gift of love. And that's where I come from. Oh,
Now, Alan, would you like to share? I know you shared, just in
Um,
case you thought of something.
yeah, talking to the attendees, the ones that are will be coming to this gathering, we're gonna do it in a beautiful way, the way Grandmother Rennie has said. We're gonna go to one of those major stops in the migration of the Anishinaabe that went across Turtle Island. And one of those sacred stops was Niagara Falls.
mm-hmm.
It played a central role to all nations. And even when the newcomers came, it was a place to go for peace, to go hear the words of what King George III had to say about the Royal Proclamation. So they had to go where the source of our power was. And we're going to start off in a good way that way. We're going to do ceremonies because it's critical that we have to take pause and reflect on who we are as humanity. I know this is structured for corporate world and education and business, and we're not going to do another master class session. You can get that anywhere with anyone.
Mm-hmm.
What you're going to get is actually a reminder of who we are as a source of creation, and that we are creators, to remind us that we have the means to create the world that we want and do so. Create so it benefits all. So when we describe our ceremonies and what we do and what we're trying to teach, it always comes from the heart. It's about compassion. And to remind us to treat each other with compassion, always. So, miigwech.
Yawa miigwech. Thank you for that. It's lovely. That's how I feel right now. Lovely and loved, and appreciate you both for taking the time today to share some of this. Um, how you, what you'll be sharing with others, and so I will be back on later on this afternoon with Grandmother Gail to hear from her and what she'll be sharing. And the concept of this conference is to have we'll be having workshops where the Grandmother Renee, Mishomis Allen, and Grandmother Gail will be um, providing their facilitation and their training, and then together we'll all gather and work together on just supporting each other on our responsibilities and our roles moving forward in reconciliation, and more importantly, for your own self, connection to your own self. And it's I'm grateful for how many people have come forward in supporting this our group. And this conference is held at the Meeting House, which is in Oakville, and it's a beautiful uh, location and venue. We'll have vendors. There'll be Indigenous organizations from all over that are coming with their team, and they'll be sharing a table with their information. This is about connecting, not just with Indigenous people, but all people, because like Alan said, it's time, and people are coming. They're coming for healing. They're coming for understanding of how they can connect, and it is time for us to gather together. So Nyawa and Chimigwech for everyone, and for everyone who is watching, and share, and reach out, and we'll share more information with you. Nyawa.
All my relations.